There's a pattern most men never catch. Two guys, same situation. One of them double texts her at midnight, checks if she watched his story, steers every conversation toward impressing her. The other one waits 3 hours to reply on purpose, acts like he doesn't care, posts himself out with other people just to prove a point. Two completely different behaviors, but underneath, the exact same thing. And if you've ever bounced between those two modes, trying too hard, then overcorrecting into acting cold, you already know neither one works. You just didn't know why. Because here's where most guys get stuck. You came here thinking the question is, how do I stop caring what she thinks? Wrong question. The right question is, why is everything I do still a reaction to her? Because that's the real issue. Both the guy chasing validation and the guy faking indifference are doing the exact same thing. They're both outsourcing their sense of worth to her response. One just does it louder than the other. Today, I'm going to show you both patterns, strip them apart, and give you the third option, the one that actually works, the one that changes how she experiences you on a level she can feel but can't explain. Let's get into it. Number 1. The validation trap looks nothing like you think it does. When most guys hear seeking validation, they picture some desperate dude begging for attention. But that's the extreme. The real version is way more subtle and way more common. It's checking your phone 4 times in 10 minutes after you sent her a message. It's posting that gym photo and then refreshing to see who viewed your story. It's bringing up your promotion, your trip, your new apartment in conversation, not because it came up naturally, but because you need her to see you a certain way. Here's the thing. You're not sharing, you're auditioning, and she feels the difference. Every time you steer the conversation toward something that makes you look good, there's a small energy shift she picks up on. She doesn't think, wow, this guy's impressive. She thinks, why does he need me to know this? That gap between what you intended and what she received, that's where validation seeking lives, quietly, constantly, and most men never even notice they're doing it. Number 2, fake indifference is just validation seeking in a leather jacket. You read some advice online, learned that neediness kills attraction. Cool, so now you wait 2 hours to reply even when you're holding your phone. You act unimpressed when she tells you something personal. You keep the conversation short on purpose, not because you're busy, but because you think brevity makes you look high value. She sees through it every time, because real indifference doesn't calculate. A man who genuinely has a full life doesn't time his replies, he just responds when he sees the message, because he was actually doing something. The fake version has the same fingerprints as the needy version. Both are built around one question. What will she think of me if I do this? One chases a yes, the other manufactures a no. Same engine, different exhaust. Number 3, both masks share the same root, and it's not about her. This is where it clicks. Validation seeking and performative indifference are both symptoms of the same thing. Your emotional center is located outside of you. It's sitting in her hands, in her reply, in her reaction, in whether she laughed at your joke or left you on red. When your sense of self depends on how she responds, every interaction becomes a test you're taking. You're not present in the conversation, you're monitoring it, scanning for signs, adjusting in real time based on her feedback. And that's exhausting for you and for her. She doesn't feel a man in front of her. She feels a mirror, someone reflecting back whatever he thinks she wants to see. And mirrors don't create attraction. They create boredom. Number 4, watch how it plays out in person. It's painfully obvious from the outside. I was at a bar a few months back, watched 2 guys talk to the same girl at different points in the night. First guy, leaning in, laughing a beat too fast at everything she said, kept redirecting the conversation back to himself. Classic. Second guy rolls up later, arms crossed, one-word answers, acting like he had somewhere better to be, except he'd been standing in the same spot, nursing the same drink for 40 minutes. She left both conversations the same way. Polite smile, quick exit.
checked her phone within seconds. Neither one registered. Not because of what they said, because neither one was actually there. One was performing interest, the other was performing indifference. And she didn't want a performance, she wanted a person. Number 5. The compliment test reveals which mask you're wearing. Here's a quick diagnostic. Pay attention to what you do when she compliments you. She says, "I like that shirt on you." If you immediately deflect, "Oh, this old thing? Nah, it's nothing." That's validation seeking wearing a humble costume. You're uncomfortable receiving because you don't believe it internally. If you hit her with some over-calibrated smooth line, smirk, lean back, act like you hear it every day, that's performative indifference. You're managing her perception instead of being in the moment. Now imagine this instead. She says it, and you just look at her, half smile, and say, "Thanks, I appreciate that." No deflection, no performance, no calculation. Just received it, stayed where you were, moved on. That micro moment tells her more about your internal stability than anything you said all night. Number 6, and this next one, honestly, this is the one that reframes everything I just said. Because all those patterns, all those mistakes, they don't get fixed by better tactics. They get fixed by something deeper. The third option, grounded self-validation. It sounds like a concept. It's not. Here's what it actually looks like on a Tuesday night. You text her back when you see the message, not early to seem eager, not late to seem busy, just when you see it, because your life has actual things in it, and your reply timing isn't a chess move. You talk about what genuinely interests you, not what you think she'll impress. If the conversation fades, you let it fade. You don't resuscitate it with a meme or a "what you doing" at 11 p.m. just because the silence is making you uncomfortable. And if she pulls away, you notice it, you feel it, and you stay exactly where you are. Not because you're pretending it doesn't affect you, but because your worth was never on the table in the first place. That's the shift. You stop reacting to her and start acting from yourself. Your emotional center moves from her response back to your own foundation. And when that happens, when you stop performing confidence and start simply being settled, she feels a kind of stability that most men never offer her. Not exciting like a roller coaster, steady like gravity. And gravity doesn't chase anyone. It doesn't pretend it doesn't exist either. It just pulls, naturally, without effort, without apology. Number 7. This is where it stops being about dating and starts being about you. I want you to hear this part carefully. The reason most men bounce between seeking validation and faking indifference is because they haven't sat with a harder question. Do I actually like who I am when nobody's watching?
Not the version you perform at parties, not the version you curate online. The version that exists at 11 p.m. on a random weeknight when nobody's texting you and there's nothing to distract you from your own silence. If that version feels empty, if you need her attention to feel like you matter, no amount of texting strategy or body language hacks will fix the real problem. The real problem is you've built a self-concept that requires external confirmation to function, and that's a foundation made of sand. You're not here to impress. You're not here to perform disinterest. You're here to build something inside yourself that doesn't need either one. A man who's genuinely rooted in his purpose, in his standards, in his own respect for himself, doesn't seek validation because he doesn't need it, and he doesn't fake indifference because he has nothing to protect. He's just present, honest, settled, and that is the most attractive thing a man can be. Not because it's a strategy, because it's real, and she can tell the difference every single time. So tonight, not tomorrow, tonight, I want you to catch yourself. One moment, just one, where you're about to text something, post something, say something, and you pause and ask, am I doing this because I want to or because I want her to see it? That pause, that honest answer, that's not a tactic. That's the third option starting to take root. Now here's what's interesting. Once you start operating from that grounded place, once the foundation is actually there,
something happens that most men don't expect. She starts testing it. Not obviously, not dramatically, but there's a moment in every connection where she quietly checks whether your confidence is real or performed. A last-minute change of plans, a shift in energy, a small provocation, and most men don't even realize the test is happening. That's the next conversation, and it's one you're going to want to be ready for. Which one of these two patterns, the chasing or the faking, do you catch yourself doing more? Drop it in the comments. Be honest with yourself. That honesty right there, that's already the third option in action. I'll see you in the next one. Stay grounded.